Mr. Chair.
Lewis Award.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to finish my contribution, I wanted to say that this bill is called the Health Protection Amendment Bill, and that word protection is really interesting because when you look at the definition if you Google it online, it says the action of protecting or the state of being protected. And so in part 2, we're saying that only people under the age of 18 deserves to be protected by the state. If you're over 18, then you get no protection. You're on your own, it's up to you, you make a choice. And I just find that not a philosophical debate, it's actually one that's based not on evidence, not on what makes sense, but obviously from a philosophical perspective on the other side of the House, they just cannot see past that philosophy and not be guided by clinicians and other people who are incredibly passionate about this particular issue. I've done a quick look just for people's interest. In Australia, the campaign to ban sunbeds actually started in 2007, and it was by a young woman called Claire Oliver who was diagnosed with melanoma, and she died at the age of 26. And she had melanoma for 4 years, so essentially the last 4 years of her life she campaigned to ban sunbeds. And it was picked up by agencies, the Cancer Society, the Peter McMillan Cancer Centre, and a really interesting fact is that the Federal Health Minister at the time was Tony Abbott. And so his contribution at the time was that we need to regulate, and there's no kind of regulations across Australia. And actually Western Australia was the last state to ban sunbeds, and that came into effect on the 1st of January 2016. So we can make law when we have leaders who are passionate about issues. And it seems to me that we have no leadership in this issue on the other side of the House. We have people who have had melanoma, who through the Cancer Society have advocated, and in fact Palmerston North Council changed their law because one of their young women constituents got cancer. And so people are moved. People who have power get moved by real stories, real lives. And it just seems here in New Zealand that this government isn't moved by and I'll repeat it, the 354 New Zealanders who died from melanoma. They're not moved by the over 2,300 New Zealanders who get diagnosed with melanoma every year. And it just makes no sense to me, and I think no sense from us on this side of the House, that the government would not act to ban sunbeds. Kia ora.
So the first question is that Ria Bond's tabled handwritten amendment amending Annette King's SOP number 80 be agreed to. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Contrary opinion will say no. The noes have it. A party vote has been called for. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
32 opposed.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
12 in favour.
Maori Party.
2 opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
1 opposed.
United Future.
1 opposed.
The ayes are 12, the noes are 109. The amendment is not agreed to. The next question is that the Honourable Annette King's amendments to Part 2 set out on SOP number 80 are agreed to. Those with that opinion will say aye. Contrary opinion will say no. Oh, the ayes have it. A party vote has been called for. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
32 in favour.
Green Party.
14 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
12 in favour.
Maori Party.
2 opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 opposed.
United Future.
1 opposed.
The ayes are 58, the noes are 63. The amendment is not agreed to. The question now is that Part 2 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. Members, Annette King's amendment to Clause 2 is now ruled out because of the loss of her SOP. So the question now is that Clauses 1 to 3 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary opinion will say no. The ayes have it. Jamie Lee Ross.
I move that the committee report progress.
Well, I seek leave for that purpose. Is there any objection? I will report process. Oh, I can... I mean, you don't have to go, but there's nothing to stay for. Are they far away? What? What's the point of finishing early?
The House is resumed. Mr Chair.
Mr Speaker, the committee has considered the Health Protection Amendment Bill and reports it with amendment. The committee has not considered the Coroner's Amendment Bill and therefore reports no progress. Mr Speaker, I move that the report be adopted.
Members, the motion is that the report be adopted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Those against, no. The motion is carried. The point of order, Jamie Lee Ross.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Members, the Health Protection Amendment Bill is set down for third reading next sitting day, and the Coroner's Amendment Bill is set down for further consideration in committee next sitting day.
Point of order.
Jamie Lee Ross.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave for the House to adjourn to the next sitting day.
Leave is put for that purpose. All those in favour? Oh, sorry. Is there any objection? There is none. Members, the House stands adjourned until 2 p.m. tomorrow. Go straight home.